Hi there, beautiful people. This is Randa. In this video, I want to talk about the idea of thinking happy thoughts as a tool of um, improving our emotional state. But what I want to concentrate on is why sometimes it doesn't work and how our physiology sometimes does not cooperate with us to move us into a better feeling state with just engaging our thoughts. And so I want you to imagine the range of emotions as like a scale or a ladder of emotions, with the most negative ones are at the basis of that ladder. And as we move up, we are moving into more positive ones. And at the top of that scale or ladder are the most positive ones. And so when we are feeling negative, when we are experiencing negative feelings, our physiology is acting in a certain way. So for us to move from the negative feelings of like sadness, despair, or frustration into the more positive ones like joy or bliss or love, our physiology does not really cooperate that fast. And so that is why sometimes when we are into that negative emotional state and then we start thinking happy thoughts and we are like efforting towards experiencing more positive feelings and it doesn't happen, it gets us to feel even more frustrated because, here I am trying to think happy thoughts and my emotional state is not improving in any way. So, like I said, when you are in a certain negative emotional state, your physiology is acting in a certain way. Science says that your heart, the nervous system that is around your heart, is by far more complex than that in the brain. And there is a communication that is happening between your heart and your brain. And your heart sends signals to your brain 4 times more often than it receives from the brain. And the quality of these signals affect to a great extent the performance of your brain and a lot of other internal systems, the performance of your internal systems as well. But in terms of our own emotional state, so with this like frequency of signals being sent from the heart to your brain, just activating the happy thoughts really does not work as effectively, when the heart is sending more signals to the brain when we are in a negative state. You know with this frequency of message of like signals that are being sent from the heart to your brain, and you're feeling bad, just activating a happy idea is not like working in sync with that flow of signals. It's not really working with that internal engineering that we have. That is why sometimes it just takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of efforting, and sometimes like it doesn't even work at all. So, what is one thing you could start with when you're feeling, for example, more on the lower emotional feelings, like, for example, sadness or frustration or desperate? Just try to be with the feeling first. Don't effort against it, don't judge it. Be in acceptance, just witness it. Stay with your heart and let that feeling be. It will move you a little bit up the emotional scale. And then when you are into less intense feelings, then it would be easier for you to move into the more positive ones. And you know what? We are emotional beings, but the thing is, societal norms and social conditioning has taught us that being emotional is something very bad and that is something to be ashamed of. Especially for us women, they kind of throw it into our faces like you're emotional as if this is something bad. But this is how we are engineered, and this is how we go about our own lives, because really our emotions affect most of what we do in life. They are kind of like the background music in our life. And really, I think that everything we do in life, it is the end result is for us to feel good at a certain level. And so we want to feel successful, we want to feel happy, we want to feel secure, we want to feel loved. And so these feelings are what is like directing us in life. So being emotional, like I said, it's not something bad. It is one of our superpowers. If we learn how to work with that internal engineering, if we learn how to work with that, our like emotional makeup, the how our nervous system works. And so, if the brain is receiving 4 times as often a message from the heart than it is sending the heart, that is why it is sometimes hard for us to affect the emotional state with just a happy thought. And so once we have moved a little bit up the emotional scale after just being in witness with the negative feeling, and now we can start activating a positive feeling such as kindness, care, compassion, love. And being emotional, we know what love feels like. We know what kindness feels like. We know what compassion feels like. And I have experienced that with my clients when I tell them, try to activate a positive feeling such as compassion, kindness, and appreciation. They kind of get into that state without having to engage the mind. And so when you are activating that positive feeling in your heart, these are the kind of signals that your heart is sending to your brain, and this is how your internal emotional state is going to change more positively, because your brain is made to be in sync with your heart, and so it will react positively to that change in your emotion. So sometimes, like for example, with some of my clients, just few of them, when they are not able to get to that feeling, I would tell them, think of someone you feel love for, or you feel kindness or appreciation for, and then try to stay in that feeling, try to bask in that feeling without staying in your mind about it. So the point really is to activate that feeling within your heart and stay in your heart. It doesn't have to be like an intense feeling of joy or enthusiasm or bliss. No, you could just activate that soft heart quality of kindness and care and compassion. That would definitely start moving you up the emotional scale. And even if you don't get into that feeling of bliss or love, your internal physiological programming will react positively with just a positive feeling like kindness, care, and compassion, because these are your heart's qualities. This is what your nervous system is made to react to in a positive way. And so, if you want to be more efficient about improving your emotional state, engage your heart with one of its qualities. Engage your heart with a positive feeling such as care, appreciation, love, and compassion. This is how you work with your physiology. This is how you work with your inner programming to improve your emotional state.